Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this video series from. It's me again, Peter, and very excited to be back again on my video series called How I Virtualize Everything. Today, I wanted to show you from scratch how I build my lab, how I build my lab on Microsoft Azure. So you can actually do this on your own personal computer if you have the resources, but the reason why I'm doing this is just to make sure that I have enough resources on the go. So in case I need more storage or I need more memory for my test, I can actually scale it up. So with that being said, if you are new here, kindly subscribe. If you're actually a returning viewer, I do really appreciate you a lot. So both can actually like, subscribe, and share the video if you find it really helpful. And if you have any questions, you can put it down in the comment section or connect with me on LinkedIn, and I'll be very glad to reach out to you in case you need to test some stuff out. All right, let's get to the business. I'm going to log in to my Microsoft Azure account, which I already did, and I want to create a new server that actually supports nested virtualization. So with nested virtualization in Microsoft Azure, we'll be able to do a lot of things like, when you create a Windows server, it's going to have internet. We're going to be able to do and play around with a lot of things. And if you are following me, please understand that if you want to use Microsoft Azure, you need to have a Microsoft subscription, which is pay as you go, where it's going to give you that privilege to be able to create this machine that I'm going to do. I'm going to show you everything. At any point in time, if you really wanted to fast forward this video, you can do. If you have any question, feel free to ask me. So like I promised, this is going to be a full raw video of how everything is going to happen. So creating our machine is just go ahead and create a resources, and from the resource we create a virtual machine. We're going to fill up the basic information, the disk, networking, the management, monitoring, advanced, tag, and we review to create. So most of these things are not that really hard, but I will still go over it also with you so you can actually understand. If you already know how to create a machine, please just go ahead and create a machine. You don't have to be on this video, but if you just really want to see how the process goes, you can stay. So let me go ahead and create a new resource group. I'm going to call it study with Peter RG. And I will give it the same study with Peter computer. I love East US, but for this tutorial or for this machine, I'm going to put it on the West US too. Is there any different? I've not seen any differences in my past lab creation, but I mean, you just want to choose a region that is very close to you. So for the availability option, I'm going to leave it in this one. If you want to read more and know more about what is going on here, you can actually Bing them or just do some research about it so that you can learn more about what is happening here. But for the lab, I will just put most of this in the defaults. So I'm going to change the image. I will put Windows Server 2022 because that is what I want. You can use 2019. And there you go on the size. Most of the time, the Microsoft server that actually support nested virtualization are the E and the D series. So for me, the 64 gig memory and the 8 vCPU is good for me because of the kind of environments that I'm going to be building. And if you are very curious about, wow, you're going to spend $598 per month, that is not true. This is only going to be true and more if you leave your environment running 24 hours. for the next 30 or 31 days. In my case, I just get like $1, $2 per day the most. That means if I actually spend 5 hours, most of the times I spend 2 hours in reproducing some stuff in my lab. So we shouldn't get that too much. So let me supply my credentials right here, and I'm going to do my password. Here, you just wanted to make sure that you are able to RDP to the machine. Once it's done, you can actually save up to 49% with a license you already own using the Azure hybrid benefit. So I'm just going to check that in next. Now, going to the disk side, it shows like inscription right here. Well, I don't usually use this for my environment, but maybe you might want to use this if you're actually creating like Windows 10 and you want to enroll it into Azure, Microsoft Intune. But for the lab, I just have to let it go. So I'm going to create an additional storage. I'm going to leave the default name. I go over here and change it to 2 terabyte. Why? Because I'm going to have a lot of download in this, and I wanted to make sure that I have enough space to be able to keep my stuff. So now that we already have it, we go to the networking. I don't normally touch this unless I already have a virtual network created and I want this machine to be part of it. But in this case, I left everything the way it is. You might want to change it. You can go to advanced and do some other configuration, but I just leave it in basic. So the load balancing, I'm not using Azure load balancer for any network traffic, so I'm just going to leave it on none. To next. Management, I don't want to use Azure AD identity provider, anything else to log into this machine. I just want to use my username and password, and that's it. If you are curious about making mistake of not shutting down the machine, when you finish using it, you can use the auto shutdown just in case you forgot. But me, well, I'm kind of used to this, so once I finish my lab, I shut it down. So I don't want to use site recovery because this is not production, guys. This is actually just a lab. So I go monitoring. I just leave this in default. Maybe in the future video, I'm going to explain what most of those things means. In the advanced section, I don't have any script or anything that I want to match to the VM, so I left it in the default. Going through the tag and review and create. So this is the most interesting part. I'm going to bring up my calculator. You see, I already did the math already. Like for example, for this VM, if you use it for 3 hours, you're only going to pay $1.3. So maybe at the end of the month, you'll be paying like maybe $6 per 5 days if you're actually using it like that. Or maybe you want to pay like maybe $30 per month for this kind of machine. For me, it's okay. I just make sure that all the information that I have here is the correct one. And with including the disk, the networking is okay for me. The management is what I want. The monitoring and also the advanced settings is what I really wanted to have there. Then I go ahead and create it. It shouldn't take that long, to be honest. I've seen this actually deploying like in 45 seconds. So even less than a minute. So like I've promised, I'm going to leave this so you can feel free to actually fast forward this video. But the idea with this video series is to show you what is going on and just for you to have like a raw visibility, like if I do this way, this is what is going to happen. So that's why I decided not to fast forward the video. If it's going to take 15 minutes, that is what it's going to take. So let's wait a little bit. So what is actually happening here is that the Azure is actually creating a disk, the virtual network, the public IP address that we need to have, to actually remote connect to the VM. Voila, look at that. Not even up to 60 seconds, I guess. So when we have the machine created, we want to go to the resource, because why not? We wanted to copy this public IP address and go to our remote desktop connection and fill up a little bit of information right here. Then I don't mind saving the credentials. I just go ahead. It's going to ask me for the password, and I'm going to save the password again. So don't ask me again for the connection on the computer. So that means that every time I click on the connection IP address, it automatically signs me in, which I'm okay with that. So that is the type of that is the way you actually create your beautiful VM. So if I need to scale up in the future, what I just need is to change the VM size, and that will require me to shut down and bring the computer back up again, and that's it. It's already resized. So with that being said, that is how we can actually bring up our server. In the next video is when the drama and everything is going to start happening, because what we are doing here is that we're going to convert this machine to a mega machine so that we can actually create a machine inside machines, and it's going to have internet. It's going to have everything that we need. Thank you so much for following me on this episode. I will see you on the next video. Bye bye for now.